Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 6th episode of the R Words podcast, a podcast where we don't only try to speak intellectually with a funny twist, we also play this game where each one of us has to generate a random word starting with the R. During conversation, each one of us has to try to implement this word 3 times in conversation without the other person noticing. The first person that actually succeeds in this will win the episode and get a point added to the tally. But there's a twist. Each one of us has a challenge, and if you think you know the word of the other guy, you throw the challenge flag and you check their word. If you're correct, the other guy won't be able to win the episode anymore, and if you're not correct, the game just continues.
Nice.
That was a flow, right?
First take,
Jeez.
no bullshit, straight into it.
Yeah. Year older, year...
Year wiser.
Year wiser.
Or a year more fluent.
Fluent. Hopefully. I feel like my frontal lobe is now fully developed. So
you're suddenly conscious?
Yeah, suddenly I'm conscious. My prefrontal cortex is now fully developed. So every choice that I make in my life now should be the best choice for me.
But now no excuses, right?
Exactly.
If you make a wrong choice, it's just monkey brain.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So last episode, if you haven't watched yet, spoiler alert, we're gonna spoil what the score is in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's 2-1 for Marco. Marco won the last episode after we had 2 episodes of no winners, so that's
true. I broke the deadlock.
Yeah, exactly. It was a nice one to finally have someone win an episode again. I think so. Damn, bro, that was the little tortilla chip that was like stuck in the back of my throat.
I'm just plotting its fucking...
Yeah, I'm going to strike exactly at 3 minutes. What was I saying? I think this also has to do with the prompt that we're using now. We changed the prompt a little bit so that we don't have words like recalcitrant anymore.
Yeah, Jesus.
And this is definitely going to help us succeeding more. And
again, I think when we get a bit more into it, we might be using longer words though.
Yeah.
Because then I think, I don't know, I feel like there will be an episode in the future where we'll both just be rattling off like
R words,
crazy R words.
But this kind of already happened like last episode where I was using like quite some interesting
funnily
R
enough
words.
Quite a lot of words begin with R.
Yeah, but
so,
that has to do with like if you're looking for it, you're gonna find it, right? That's like the whole manifesting kind of theory. Like if you're looking for a car and you're into buying a BMW, like a black BMW, some sort of brand that was or series, you're gonna see it everywhere on the street. So
classic.
Yeah. You wanna?
But then there would have been the same amount of black BMWs, right? The only thing that's changed is now you're suddenly
paying
attention to them, right?
That's what they say with manifesting. If you're like manifesting some sort of goal that you want to achieve, you have to visually see the goal and actually like trying to look for it, because then you will actually find it. That's like the whole manifesting thing.
Yeah, but then you could construe it as manipulating your focus.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
It has nothing to do with like chance or whatever. It's just literally you're actually working towards it or looking for it and manipulating your focus. Yeah.
But then this is a decent tangent we could go off on, is how much do you think is up to chance?
Well, as a mathematician, I would like to think everything is up to chance, basically. Yeah. It's just like you can defy the odds a little bit by gravitating more towards a certain type of goal, I think. So you have basically the odds are already there, but you can just change those odds.
You can manipulate the odds.
Yeah, I think so.
By that logic, the decisions you make can either increase or decrease the odds of something.
Yeah. I think that's how that works.
So then you look at it as basically in probabilities.
Yeah. You have a different approach to this?
No, I'm trying to think what my approach might be.
You want to think about it, or you just want to generate a word?
I'll generate a word,
okay.
Thank you.
Damn. Well, while Marco is generating his word, this is where I always talk about the YouTube channel that you can actually follow, and you can like every video. You can also ring the bell to get notified whenever we upload. Then go to Spotify. You can like the podcast, and after watching a full episode, you can also rate it 5 stars, nothing less. Then you can also hit us up on our Instagram and our TikTok to watch our shorts, and yeah, follow there as well. And normally by this time Marco has generated his word, but I'm pretty sure he had a different word this time that he had to actually look up, or he had to.
No, for some reason when I reloaded the page, it kept the prompt. Oh, sorry, no, it kept the answer that it gave me.
Oh, okay.
But then when I just went up on the refresh feature on ChatGPT, it got rid of it. So
okay, now I'm going to generate it, and I will try to refresh it quickly this time.
we have a growing list. Well, we just made a list of all the words we've used so far, because in the prompt I'll say blah 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 blah, a word that isn't all the words we've had already, right? And for the past couple episodes, we've just spent like a couple seconds there being like, okay, what were the words we used so far, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah. It's always just going over every
So
word.
now
that
I
we
finally
have.
made a note, and we have all of them in there. But we're also thinking of maybe switching this up, right? Maybe as things go by, we will get people to make a pool of words.
Yeah, if
then we spin a wheel or something like this, you know.
This could be fun if we have like a quite some following where people actually like throw some words in some sort of pool, and then some third person will generate our words without us knowing, or something like that. Yeah, that would be fun.
It's true.
But for that we need a lot of viewers, I would say, because the more the merrier, and that's all up to you guys. You guys following, liking, and sharing with others.
But then we need to be careful what we say, right? Because what we say will either increase or decrease the probability of getting more people, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So, have any interesting topics to talk about? Well, maybe we should talk about what happened yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, before we go into it. Because yesterday we went to see one of the worst movies I've seen in like a long time.
Yeah?
Bro. You're actually questioning it?
I mean, I know you have an
affiliation. I have a thing for really bad movies, as you probably have heard in like episode 3, I guess, or maybe 4, whatever. So yes, Marco and I went with some friends to the Minecraft movie, and we had high expectations of there being some like tomfoolery, I would say,
rambunctiousness.
And well, there were some like 13-year-olds screaming here and there, just like the text, I would say, of the like the lines in the movie,
just copying what they've seen on social
basically
media.
And at the specific moment in the movie where in America and like on everywhere on TikTok and Instagram, shit happened, like shit actually hit the fan. They brought in 2 security guards to make sure that nothing was going to happen, or else he would be kicked out. I never really had plans on doing anything crazy, besides my opening of the can that I'd always do in the silent moments.
You're talking it up as if someone like dropped a fucking bomb or something in the
No, but I've seen crazy stuff on videos where people literally go to the front and they take off their shirt and they start waving their shirt at that specific moment, which, yeah,
it's pretty ape brain.
Yeah.
You gotta respect it.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, overall the movie, I would say I've seen better movies.
Yeah, I mean, it at some points I was questioning how certain things got to where they were and how it made sense in like a storyline. And like you could say the plot was pretty like predictable since day one, right? Yeah. But I mean, I think it was intended as a more funny movie for kids or something like this. I mean, I think they already grabbed. I think on the topic alone, they already got audience. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I heard it was like the highest like grossing like premiered. I think, as in like they had like even bigger than Barbie.
More than Avatar.
More than Avatar as well. Yeah, I think so. Well, the grossing has to do with like the end thing, right?
I've never understood this. There's like box office. There's grossing. Like I don't know what they all mean.
I think like overall, maybe profit-wise, Avatar was like one of the biggest.
And then it wasn't a box office hit where it's like just immediately. People,
yeah, I think just overall, and I think the Minecraft movie now has like the biggest like premiered, like everyone going there, but it's because all of those people that normally stay indoors, they went behind their computer and actually went to a cinema for once.
Yeah, this is what you were saying in the cinema. You were saying that there was all the degens and
the lack of Axe body spray was visible and you could smell it.
People slithering out of their caves to go see the Minecraft movie.
Yeah, so that was an experience for sure. Just one of the things that you just want to see just to be part of the meme, I guess, or just like be able to talk about the meme. But I was wondering, like, what is like movies that they could what are topics or games, I guess, that they could make an actual good movie about that would actually do good.
Would you include series as well?
I would say just anything. Well, series
like are you saying movies as well as series that you can make on a game?
Oh, a series about a game. Oh yeah.
Because for example, this has happened with a couple of games.
Yeah, with Arcane,
like Last of Us.
Yeah, true.
I still haven't played the game, which is pretty disgraceful.
They should make a GTA movie. That would be pretty dope, no? Trevor? Can I get 4 number 9s?
Oh yeah, true. But yeah, I was waiting till they came out on PC, so I'll play it soon. But they made a TV show. They made a Netflix show on this, I think, and it was pretty popular. Yeah, you mentioned one.
Arcane. It's about like League of Legends.
I think there's one for Dota as well.
Really?
I think so. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know. There's
they also no.
There's a lot of documentaries and stuff, but this isn't really a movie.
It's not a movie. I was thinking about like Fallout guy as well, but isn't that not about a Fallout guy? Do you know Fallout?
Fallout 76?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then they made a movie called Fallout Guy, or maybe a series, but I'm not sure if it's actually about Fallout, which would be like a
interesting
scam, kind of.
I mean, that might be smart as well, you know? Call it Fortnite Man.
Yeah.
And then just have like a
Man
2 hours of Man Dog.
I'm pretty sure they'll make a movie about Fortnite one day, to be fair.
You think?
Yeah.
I mean, if they've made one about Minecraft.
Exactly, right? What is like one of those other like really big games that they could make?
But we're talking kiddie games, right?
Exactly, yeah. Like Fortnite, Minecraft. What is something else that Roblox, bro?
Yeah. But the thing is, I actually think it would be more... There's definitely like... what's it called? Creator-made movies on using Roblox. I'm assuming, right? Because there's so many made using like the Source engine in like TF2 or something like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely like people who have made short movies in Roblox. But I feel like this might even be more difficult to narrow down a concept, right?
Yeah,
because in
Minecraft
it's very simple. In Minecraft it's a game where you're supposed to survive and like build stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fortnite, you're supposed to like survive and battle royale or whatever, right? But in Roblox they have so many other modes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just thought of something. Actually, there's already a Fortnite movie. That's what we talked about in episode 4, right?
You mean Hunger Games?
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games birthed Fortnite, maybe.
Yeah, so technically...
we were saying that maybe this birthed the whole Battle Royale genre, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know what came first. Should look at this.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. But then this died pretty soon after.
The whole...
Battle Royale stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's pretty dead now. I mean, Apex is getting a bit more popular. but I can't think of a battle royale game that is like really popular at the moment. I guess Fortnite, but I actually don't know the numbers on it, to be honest. I'm assuming it has loads of kids playing it though.
Yeah. As long as people stream it, people will play it, I guess.
True.
Yeah. Okay, let's get out of the gaming topic. Fair enough. Okay.
But then what I was gonna say, something about because in the cinema, right? You were saying that you've never really been the kind of person who would, like, I don't know, scream or something like this. Like, you just opened your can of Coke or whatever, right? I've always felt like, I don't know, like, for me, I care less about what random people think of me on the street, right? So I like, at least when I was younger, right? Mm-hmm. In my blossoming teenage years, you know, I would have cared less about public stuff like this.
Yeah.
But cared more about what people closer to me thought. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of it being like even between the two.
Yeah, which would make sense, I would say.
Yeah, do you think this is...
I think that makes more sense.
But then some people are really conscious about what
others,
everyone thinks, like just random public people who they never even talk to.
Yeah.
So then I don't know if that means that they care less about what people close to them think, or if it's just heightened more, so they care even more.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean? Like maybe it's always like this.
Yeah. Maybe they have the just like they care in general a lot of what people think of them, not so much like random people or close by people would think.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, I don't know. But then another topic that I sent to you before the video, right? And it needed a bit of explaining. But from what I remember, there was 2 people who wrote books on dystopian futures. One of them is a bit more well known, I think, George Orwell, 1984. And the other guy was Huxton or something like this.
Something like that, yeah.
Sorry if I butchered it. Probably no one knows what I'm talking about anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is another guy who wrote a book which I can't remember the name. I think A Brave New World, which was a book, another dystopian book. And this George Orwell guy thought that society would be controlled by making stuff, like punishing stuff, and through fear. Mm-hmm. Right? And then this Huxton guy thought that society would instead be controlled through pleasure, right? And that basically they would make things pleasurable to do in order to make people not want to do other things. If you take the example of reading a book in George Orwell's society, they would censor the book and you wouldn't be able to read it because you can't buy it, right? Whereas in the Huxton society,
you get a cigarette every page you turn.
That's one of the forbidden techniques of studying.
Yeah, exactly.
No, in the other guy's idea is that people would have so many options for pleasure and stimulation that they wouldn't even want to read the book in the first place. Right? Which, to be honest, seems a bit familiar to me.
So books will be gone in the future is what both of them say.
No, I think from what I understand, this is just an example to explain what they mean, right? It's just that they're saying that in terms of controlling society. Do you know what I mean?
But then what you said, like, it sounds familiar to you. What?
This whole, like, people having so much stuff to do and so much stimulation and so much stuff to pleasure them that they don't end up doing anything.
So it's what's happening right now,
in my opinion.
Ah, okay.
Right? Whether this is orchestrated or whatever, I won't get into. Okay. Right? But yeah, it reminds me of what's going on, you know? Like, I feel like we have so much stuff that we can look at whenever we want. We have a portable phone, which we can constantly be stimulated by whatever we really want. Videos on whatever.
Yeah.
Jokes, memes, whatever, you know? and we can do this whenever we want, wherever we are. And I think this makes it easy to kind of just be constantly stimulated by something. You know what I mean?
I also saw this post one day where it was like, back in the day, you would like read books to be informed about something. And nowadays, it's so easy to get information. And then also because of TikTok, for instance, you get a lot of information in like a short span of time, which is also not good for our brain, which is like because that's not the way our brain works.
It's not the way we're used to it.
Yeah.
We're used to having to work to get stuff in general, right?
Yeah.
Whether it was food back in the day, right?
Back in the day.
And then more recently, whether it was for information, we had to work our ass off to find the information. Yeah. Now it's super duper easy.
Yeah. And now every time I scroll TikTok, I get like information about Kiribati for some reason, or like
what?
It's some sort of country in the ocean. Kiribati.
Yeah.
Or like I just get like random information about stuff that I would never normally look up, and for some reason it sticks with me, and maybe the more important stuff that I should actually remember doesn't stick with me.
Yeah, but then that's because you could say that, I mean, you could go two ways with this, right? You could say getting information in a short format is the future of learning, right? You could argue this. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's say someone could argue that, yeah, getting information in a short period of time is more efficient for your own time. It's more effective because it's condensed, like hyper condensed into like a couple of seconds. So people could argue that this is the future of learning, right?
Yeah.
And that everything should be geared towards this, and that the reason we have problems is because we have short format information for quote unquote less important information.
Yeah.
And we don't have it for more important information.
Yeah. But this makes it like an interesting jump towards like teaching, because I mean, I'm studying to become a teacher, and then
you're gonna have to learn to make shorts, buddy.
I'm gonna have to learn to make like presentations where there's Subway servers on the left side and there's like a Minecraft parkour on the right side.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but then like I have to like adapt to this kind of new generation where
it's gonna be difficult.
I'll have to teach whatever I want to teach within 10 minutes or less, and then the kids just have to be like roaming free basically. And but then they get to high school and uni, or not high school, they get to uni or college, and they get like lectures for like 1.5 hours, and nothing will stick to them. So
this is what I'm saying. Either you make the argument that this short that information presented in a short period of time and short content is the future of learning, or we make the argument that it's not, and that we should instead go in the other direction.
Actually, like, yeah.
And that we should get rid of short content,
yeah,
and keep it in a longer form, like lectures. But then, see, this is like, for me, this isn't even necessarily just about learning, right? Let's take movies, for example, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like people are less able to watch through a full movie now, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's because of all the short content.
I think that's why, to be honest.
Yeah, but then it's interesting how podcasts for some reason got like a research like 2 years ago.
Because
right?
I don't think this is with everyone.
Sorry.
You know?
It's resurgence, right?
Yeah, resurgence.
Resurgence not the same, right? I told you this before. This is not the game. For some reason,
wait, what do you mean, resurge and resurgence?
It's not the same word, right? The real word for this thing, what I was trying to say.
If something has a resurgence, it means it comes back.
Yeah. So basically, the longer formatted videos were more popular like I think this happened like 3 to 4 years ago, after the whole like Vine and TikTok hype, basically, because Vine was like 6 second videos, extremely short.
Oh yeah, wasn't there like a cap as well? Like you had to fit it within 6 seconds.
Yeah, it was 6 seconds or less.
This was the beginning.
Huh?
This is the beginning.
That's what I'm saying. This was the beginning of the entire short video thing, because people then became super creative, where they could make like an entire bit within 6. Is it 6 or 9? No, I think it's 6 seconds. Yeah, 6 seconds. And I think then also we realized like, oh, I don't have to watch this 20-minute video. I can just watch 200 I had to do the math real quick.
Right.
I can just watch 200 videos instead of just this one video, you know? So I think that's where it all like went downhill. And then TikTok, I think at first it was like around 20-second videos. And now they're also increasing to like 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes sometimes.
Oh,
yeah.
But then we could do an incredible segue here into another topic.
Do it.
Maybe the fact that podcasts resurge and there's more people embracing and clutching on to older traditions. This is rejecting modernity, right? And this goes into in my opinion, interesting conversation we had.
Yes.
About whether we will ever get to a point where there won't be anyone who clings on to the past and past ways of doing things, right?
Yes.
And you can think about this in a couple of ways, right? Let's give the example of vinyls or something like this.
Yeah.
Nowadays, most people listen to music, I would say, on Spotify or some form of app digitally. But there are still people who listen to it in a more old-fashioned way, whether this is physical radio, records, whatever.
Yeah.
Some of these might be older people who have done it for their whole life, but there's also younger people, right?
Yeah.
Who do this. And we see this all the time where older stuff becomes trendy again.
Yes.
Right? And I was thinking, like, do you think it'll ever get to a point where there will be maybe less people clutching on to what once was, or more people, or how it will develop in the coming years, basically?
Yes, and we had an extremely long conversation about this, I would say, on the terrace. And I think, well, I was leaning more towards like techie stuff, right? That like right now there are less people that'll get like an actual house phone, basically, instead of like a portable like iPhone.
It's actually true. Do landlines even exist anymore? I haven't seen one in ages since when I grew up.
Either my grandpa still has it, or he got rid of it as well. But yeah, so I was saying like it's less likely to see one of those landlines instead of like an actual like cell phone. But then think maybe 30 years ahead, where maybe people will implement some sort of chip in your brain where you can be able to call or like use your phone through this chip, and you just see it on your lens. I think at that point, like 30 years ahead, people will be like, yeah, no, I think I'd rather not have the chip and just stick to my phone, because why would you implement something like, I think the difference between having a landline and having something portable is bigger than the difference between having a chip in your brain and having a phone in your pocket, basically.
Really?
I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. I think so.
Do you think the difference is bigger between landline and portable?
Yes.
Interesting. Because I was going to say, maybe in this case, what might cause this is the fact that tech is getting very advanced very fast, but also when it goes down this whole route of like AI and robotics and human robot interfaces and stuff like this, you know what I mean?
I think a lot of people will be like, yeah, this is too much for me.
So people will think it's gone too far. And it's all thanks to sci-fi movies.
Exactly. It's all thanks to all those dystopian societies, sci-fi movies.
So you think people will respond differently to whether they get presented with a chip to put in their brain than they did to when they get a mobile phone?
Yes, I think so.
I mean, there's no way we'll ever know, but do you think, I don't know. Because I feel like when people first heard about a mobile phone, it must have been crazy at the same time. You know?
Well,
like, and I feel like now we're already talking about brain chips.
I think why I think that they were more likely to go to the mobile phone versus the landline, because it was still something visible that you could see and still something that you could touch. And I think it kind of like smoothly transitioned into being the fucking little plaque of iPhone that we have now, because it started off as like an actual like thing that you held basically, and you had to type, and also you had to use the same kind of keyboard. And I think people then were more like, okay, I can see why this would work, because this is still the same keyboard I use on my landline, but now I can carry it everywhere without having the cords being stuck in my fucking soup.
And then also we need to think that throughout this transition there would have been digital interfaces as well. It's not like it went overnight from landlines to mobile phones. Like there would have been digital like iPad type things, like touchscreen stuff in like a shop or something before iPhones were all over the place.
Yeah. Well, it also I think the whole touchscreen kind of thing also started off with a little bit of the iPod thing, right? So then Apple started producing the iPods where you couldn't really call with in the beginning. At least I had an iPod Touch.
Yeah, I had one.
And I think you could ages. At one point you could actually use like you could implement a SIM card in it, and then you could call with an iPhone Touch. I've seen it before. They like kind of like jailbreak it, and then they can
hook it up to like a fucking
then you would have to
tinfoil. Like
yeah. And then gradually they went into like producing all the like touchscreen, or like hybrids where they had like touchscreen and a keyboard. I've had that before as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there was the Samsung QWERTY.
QWERTY?
Yeah, it's like the QWERTY.
Yeah.
You have to like.
Apparently, that's one of the most common passwords in the world, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
QWERTY.
Yeah, because they just go me.
Yeah, but then also you have different kind of keyboards. Did you know that?
Yeah, I have a German keyboard by accident.
Azerty? Wow, really? Why?
Well, I was buying a new keyboard on Amazon, and I didn't look at whether it was English or German, and I think the German one must have been marginally cheaper or something.
Damn, I would not be able to.
I mean, it's fine because you can change your keyboard on your computer.
The bindings.
When you press this, it does something else.
Damn, so you change all of the bindings?
Just basically the Z and the Y, because this is the one that fucks me up the most.
Ah, okay.
But it does. It is different when
you scratch off the.
It is different when I type on my iPad, because I'll be typing on my computer and I'll be pressing one, and then on my iPad I'm not used. You know what I mean? Like it's different. Yeah. My iPad's an English keyboard, so. But
that's interesting.
Yeah, but then going even off from this, back to the rejecting modernity thing, was if we get to this point where there's things like brain chips, and let's say there's Apple Pay, but the equivalent of, I don't know, blinking or something like this, right? Just accidentally pay a lot. Or something like this where you have a chip. And what I was kind of musing about was that when COVID happened,
yes,
in the vast majority of countries, you had to get vaccinated in order to basically do anything, right?
Yeah.
And you'd have to have a vaccination cert, and then there's also like a green card, or not a green, kind of
a green card.
Like you needed like some kind of certificate to travel or go into bars.
Here we had
or
a QR code.
Yeah.
That you could just scan.
And you needed this to do basically anything.
Yeah, sit on the terrace.
Yeah, and
go to the store.
This is what I feel like, because they basically made it impossible for you to do anything without having this vaccine cert.
Yeah.
Right? And that meant that people who might, in this case, be rejecting this idea would be forced to go against their beliefs and get the vaccine in order to function. And I was applying this to the example of brain chips in the future. What if they introduce brain chips and they're really convenient? Maybe they even allow you to search something up in your head on the internet, whatever, right? augmented cognitive capabilities, whatever, right? But I feel like, as with all things, there will naturally be people who are like, nah, not for me, mate.
Yeah.
Right? You're saying this might be more than with other things because it's a bit like dystopian or futuristic, right?
That's what
I would tend to agree, but we don't know. But what if they end up making it almost impossible not to have this?
Yeah, make it mandatory for some reason.
Right? Or not even explicitly making it mandatory, but just doing what they did with the COVID thing, where they basically sneakily made it so that you can not get it.
Yeah.
But it's going to be pretty
you won't be able to go to the grocery store or go to a restaurant or travel.
I also saw this in England or something. They had some store where you had to scan your app of the store to get in, and you couldn't get in without scanning the app.
Damn.
So if you didn't have a digital phone, you're fucked, which is ridiculous in my opinion. That's
ridiculous.
But anyway, and so yeah, I was thinking, what if you get forced basically to get these things, and how will this affect people who don't want to and people who reject this these modern inventions? And do you think this is going to cause a decrease in these people who are clinging to the past and reminiscing about the non-technological days? Or do you think this is going to increase the amount of people who are rejecting the new ways of doing things and cause a divide in society?
Didn't we say like it could be possible that there's like different kind of communities where you have like a kind of like an old school group outside of the city? They still produce their own, like
they grow their own fucking
exactly
grow their own plants and veg, have their farms, and they have tech-free zones or whatever like this, and they walk around wearing tinfoil hats.
Now that could be a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, this would be
an insane concept. If we go a little bit further in like the script of this movie, it would be a small town girl living in a
big town world.
No, small town girl. She lives in this like community where they grow everything themselves, produce everything, farm, that kind of stuff, no tech. And then there's a guy who lives in a big city. And
at the beginning, they're both so indoctrinated to
for some reason, he's some sort of security guy or something, and he's been sent off to the town to check on whatever, I don't give a fuck, electricity poles or something like that. Security cameras, whatever, something.
All those people are too afraid to go near the electricians. Right?
Yes,
they have like tinfoil suits.
Yeah. And then he goes there, sees her, and he's like, "Oh, this is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen before." She doesn't want him because he's from the city, you know.
Yeah, and then he's been told his whole life that these people are crazy.
Exactly.
And they've all been brought up on their own society's
own
beliefs and ideals, that the other side is wrong. You know how it always is. But then eventually these walls break down, and they find
I also think he's gonna go there, see how relaxed everyone is there compared to like the city, and then he's gonna be like, wait, this is maybe better. And then his parents for some reason are getting like annoyed, like, oh no, you're saying a city boy, it's and then he goes, no dad, this was never my dream, it was your dream.
I feel like this movie could either go like crazy or go super bad.
We can make it as cringy as possible, but I think this could be a really interesting storyline.
Yeah,
that probably has already been done. But
true.
I mean,
or probably been thought of at least.
Yeah. So if there's any directors out there watching this podcast for some reason, or if you know if this kind of movie already exists, let us know, and the script is there for you for free. We have not copyrighted this, or have we?
We're just baiting you into a copyright infringement.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we need money some way, right? No, that could be interesting.
Yeah, but then I think this is. Yeah.
Where would you fit into? Would you go to the big city and be techie?
I think I would be rejecting it, to be honest.
So you would go to the farm,
and this is because I don't know why, but I feel like
your own potatoes.
Yeah, I feel like this idea has become so like, I don't know, glorified in my mind for some reason recently. Like this idea of being self-sustainable and growing your own stuff because you've no idea what other people are putting into it or whatever, you know.
Yeah, we were talking about this as well.
This partially stems from me trying to be healthy in food or whatever, but in general, Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've become an old man in this sense of like embracing the old days and stuff like this more.
Yeah, but yeah, I also said that like right now for me that's like almost impossible with the way I live right now. It's so impossible to grow everything yourself.
Oh yeah.
Also, I don't even have a garden, so
yeah, I mean it's pretty much unfeasible at the moment.
It's also quite expensive to do all that kind of stuff. So it's just we're being forced now to.
Yeah, we're talking about what if.
Yeah, exactly. This is actually a topic that I have to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah.
At school, it's like some sort of a debate that we have.
About what?
And basically, well, it's not really the same, but it kind of links in it. Basically, it's about if they should implement 2 different kind of grocery stores, one for healthy food and one for unhealthy food.
Interesting.
And then so there's one party that's like.
What do you mean?
So basically, that's literally what it is. Then you have to create everything around it. So they're saying that people should start eating more healthy because it's better for the life, yada yada yada. But now all the products are in the same grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And what they try to do is that they want to create 2 different stores, one store for the healthy food and one for the unhealthy food, for people that if they go to the healthy store, they know for sure
they don't need to worry about getting some fucking additives or texturizing agents.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole like basically the statement. And then my party is against.
I feel like you could go against this in a lot of ways.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I got we were chosen in groups, obviously, but we definitely got the best side of the cookie.
I think you could also go for it though. For it, I would say that if you create this.
Okay, no, this is a good practice for me. You're gonna go forward, and I'm just gonna.
Okay, let's do this. If you create this clear distinction, and you literally people know it's fully transparent. People know this is healthy store, this is unhealthy store, and the name is healthy and unhealthy, whatever. Right? It's fully transparent. More people will go to the healthy store.
Okay.
Even if before they've been eating objectively less healthy, I think that this would cause an increase in people going to the. Okay, I don't know if more people in general would go to the healthy store, but I think more people would eat healthier. More people would choose healthier options. Why? Because I think this adds a whole new element to it. Not only are people going to go to the healthy store because they want people to think they're healthy, people are going to go to the healthy store because other people who are being healthy are doing it. People are going to go to the healthy store because they want to believe that they're eating healthy. Yeah. And in my opinion, it introduces this whole new dimension to eating healthy, where now it's almost like the desired one. You know what I mean? No one's going to voluntarily eat unhealthy. Yeah. They'll just eat unhealthy without telling themselves they're eating unhealthily. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Now the thing is that like who's going to score these products if they're healthy or not? That's
a very
one.
Good point.
2,
like the specifics are very important here.
Yeah. 2 is if you have to grade every item that is healthy with some sort of grade or everything, it's going to be more expensive. The food will get more expensive because they have to be rated, scored and everything.
But why do you think that this will make it more expensive?
Because they have to do like actual tests on it. They have to do more tests on it and grading and everything. So that's there's more effort into the product. So then like, it's going to be more expensive.
For example, there's a lot of non-profit apps. I have one which is called Yuka, where you scan the barcodes of products and it tells you all the ingredients that are in it. This is a non-profit thing from Benelux, I think. Right?
But then some sort of organization has to scan all the products and then send them to the right thing. But they can never do that for free for the entire life.
But my point is they wouldn't have to do it more than once. Maybe they need to do it every time they introduce a new product. But in the end of the day, the only one introducing new products will be the unhealthy store. Right?
Okay, but then, I would say also... Then I can counter this as well with what's healthy for me might not be healthy for you. So then what is healthy?
In what way?
As in like maybe I have I'm lactose intolerant. So then why would milk be healthy for me? And you're maybe a gluten-free person. Why would bread be healthy for you?
What do you mean? Because like, yeah, bread can be good for, but it also depends on the bread and all this stuff. But I'm more thinking about objectively healthy. Obviously, if you're allergic to apples, it's not healthy for you to eat
No, but
apples.
that's
you know
what I mean. Like,
but
why
that
would
doesn't
you
mean that you should go to the unhealthy store
then,
and buy an artificially apple flavored apple instead of buying an apple. You know what I mean?
But then what we were saying with like the whole.
Okay.
The what we were saying with the whole like it makes the items more expensive because they have to be graded and everything, is that you then are not able to put the healthy store next to the unhealthy store. Not only for well, in the beginning, for instance, you go to the parking lot and you see people walking into the unhealthy store, you're gonna think like, oh, fucking Rob from my neighbors is unhealthy, I'm not gonna talk to them anymore. So then they're gonna separate these, but also the grocery stores still need to be profitable. So then if the healthy store is more expensive, why would you put it in like a how do you say that? I don't have the right word for this.
What?
I was gonna say like a low life village. And like you cannot put that store in like some sort of like village where the people don't have like a big salary, basically. So you're gonna move all the healthy stores to like the big cities where everyone is like has like more money.
In every city you would need to have supermarket, and you have it literally half. Yeah, but exact same car park, exact same exterior, exact same exterior, exact same.
To be fair, the healthy supermarket should not have a car park. Everyone should just walk to the store.
Fair. But no,
but then people will be like basically shaming you for going to
exactly. For going to the unhealthy one, and this is exactly what makes me think that people will go to the healthy one.
Yeah, but then if they don't have the money for it, already right now,
healthy food.
No, but healthy
objectively
food
more expensive than unhealthy food.
Yeah,
agreed.
So it's already not.
However, this is not a rule of thumb, right? You can buy a kilo of whole grain flour, a kilo of like dried beans, and a kilo of meat, and it would be enough to feed you for a week. And you could buy not enough food to feed you for a week of unhealthy food. Do you know what I mean?
Then why are normally people with less much money are not doing this? Why are they all going for the fast food kind of
beats
direction?
Me, but most of it is convenience, right? Nowadays everything's geared towards convenience, right?
Yeah,
and
true.
You pay a convenience fee half the time, right? Like but yeah, at the same time, if we go back to the ratings, they can't, in my opinion, this whole Nutri-Score thing needs to be reworked a little bit, because
it makes no sense.
It's a bit bullshit, bro. Because you get a packet of mincemeat and it says it's got a Nutri-Score of C or something, and you get a packet of fucking biscuits, but they have whole grain and like 20 different ingredients in them, and it's B.
But this
is complete bullshit.
That's because the Nutri-Score is based off the same category products. So within that category,
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't mean that the meat is as.
It means that as far as mincemeat goes, it's less healthy than the other mincemeat.
Exactly.
Where do they say this? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
I really doubt that the average person sees.
Because the other day I bought a frozen pizza with a Nutri-Score of A, and I felt
exactly. It's like, what the fuck, bro?
I felt so good about myself. No, of course I'm not that fucking.
Yeah, but
gullible.
People don't respond to it in the same way. They see a traffic light system. When you go in a car and you see a traffic light, you're not like, yeah, but this is orange for this road, and this road has this speed limit, so that means that orange for this road means that I can go at 60 kilometers per hour through the speed light, as opposed to a 40-kilometer road where you could only go 20. That's not how it works, you know?
No, I know.
It's traffic lights in driving are standardized, you know? It's red, it's amber, or it's green, right?
You say amber?
It's not yellow, and it's not orange. It's in between. Right? It's not yellow.
No, that's actually true. Holy shit, I've never thought about this.
Yeah, it's technically amber, but...
Damn, that's crazy.
People also say yellow light, but if you look at it, it's not like yellow, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like normally on like, I would say cartoons and stuff like that, and yeah, it is yellow, I think.
Yeah?
I think so. Normally you say red, yellow, and green, right?
Yeah, 100%. But the color in itself, I'd say, is more like amber. At least this is the pretentious thing of saying it, right?
That's so funny. I never thought of it like that.
But the supermarket thing could be interesting. But in my opinion, the only way it would work is if you standardize it all, right? So that they're both controlled environments where everything is kept to exactly the same, apart from the food. Then the specifics are incredibly important. What is healthy? This is a great question, right? Yeah. For me, it means things that is responsibly produced without additives, pesticides, things. So this would also basically mean organic, which also creates this problem of expensive. Yeah. Right? This is also something which would need to be worked on. This isn't an unsolvable problem, okay? If they're going to the effort to build 2 different stores, make them the exact same, they can also go to the effort to create more organic farms and create a way where it's less expensive. Yeah,
but I think because the problem is more like directed towards our country, is that also our country has a thing for like building houses and apartment buildings. So they want to have way more living space for some reason, more people to live in this country. And then also we wouldn't be able to fit more grocery stores. There's already like a lot of stores basically going bankrupt in like smaller cities because
they can't compete with the big boys.
Yeah. And then you turn these bankrupt
stores. You go and you do home makeover. You bash all the walls down. You make Albert
white
Heijn,
people renovating
Albert Heijn
houses.
healthy, and then you,
Yeah.
And I think there's ways of implementing it. Again, actually implementing it would be a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't work to start with. Of course
this is basically the whole thing after not selling cigarettes in the grocery store anymore. That now they're going to the lengths saying like we should not be selling unhealthy food anymore at the grocery store. Mm-hmm. So that's where it all came from.
In my opinion, they put like, I think that they just need to be more explicit about stuff, and I think they need to be more transparent.
Yeah.
Because if you do the digging, you can find out whether something's unhealthy. But the issue that I have is that you have to do the digging. The responsibility to find out whether the food is unhealthy or not lies on you. And you can make an argument that this is fair enough. It's up to you whether you want to eat healthy or not. And therefore, it's up to you to find out whether something is healthy or not. But if they actually want people to eat healthy or not, it's very simple. You tell them whether it's healthy or not.
Yeah.
Not using some traffic light system which is specific to each thing, which no one even understands. Instead, literally saying, this is unhealthy because it has this and this and this, which has been shown to cause this and this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think the problem with this is this is never going to happen because if people eat more healthy, then they'll less likely end up with some sort of like disease and they end up in a hospital.
It's not going to happen because of money.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
In short.
Yeah,
and
this is the short answer.
This is actually one of my big
annoying,
annoyances with the world at the moment is that it's driven by money and not by anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, we tried to sell a script in this episode as well, so we're also money driven.
No. We don't care about money at all. Go subscribe, you know. Yeah, but this is the thing.
Our nose starts to grow.
What do you mean by that?
People will get the reference if they really know.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, they can respond to it in 2 ways, but anyway, I think that yeah.
Oh, that's true.
We're a product of our environment at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know? And but this is an interesting debate.
It's
you're gonna have.
Interesting.
I feel like but this real quick, okay?
real quick before we wrap up this episode.
We can get into this more in another episode, but this whole thing where we're having debates like this, like, oh, maybe we should have healthy stores and unhealthy stores, you know? Maybe we should have this and this. And then in the end, people are like, yeah, but this would be way too difficult to do. And nothing gets done.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is exactly where we are at in so many things right now. That we're just so used to doing things a certain way. And we've structured our communities and societies around doing things a certain way. And we've realized that some of the stuff that we do isn't right. And it's not the best way of doing it. But we've done it for so long. And because we've structured our societies around it, it's almost impossible to change.
Yeah.
And it's not impossible to change, but people are resistant to changing it because it would be so difficult.
You can start your own utopian society somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. But I feel like we're at this crossroad in so many things, right? In terms of healthy eating, in terms of the education system, in terms of the prison system, in terms of the medical system, in terms of everything. We're at this point where we realize that there's some things that we could be doing better, but it's so difficult to change them because we've been doing it this way for so long, and we're used to doing it this way, and we've engineered stuff to be done this way, to the point where, yeah, we could change it, but it will be a lot of work. Yeah. And I think that this is where we are, and I think in order to change anything now, we actually really want to have to change it, and we're going to have to accept that it's going to be difficult to start with. It's not going to work to start with, but that with time it will be better, and to think long term.
Damn.
Anyway,
just my 2 cents.
Enough of that.
Yeah. Well,
I won. Well, maybe you had your word as well.
No, I did it once, and
you gotta step up, buddy.
Yeah, I know, and I had a really easy word as well, but I just
me too. But
couldn't get it in there. Did you have records or something like that?
No, respond. Yeah.
Oh my god,
Sleeper word. I'm gonna what's it called? Tailor the prompt a bit, because it can't be that easy.
That was really easy for you.
So
I had the word relaxed. I used it in the script.
You have no.
I was at one point I was gonna say like, yeah, I'm just chilling, I'm just relaxed, but I'm like, I don't know. I used it in the script with like the guy going to the community. He's like, oh, you guys are so more chill here, more relaxed.
Yeah, but then you could have used it in everything, because you could have said even in the healthy dichotomy, right? You could have said that people who are going to this store will be more relaxed about it because they're not told what they're doing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, anyways, we got another point for Marco back to back. So it's 3-1 now for Marco.
Yeah, you got to step up your game.
I'm going to step up my game. I'm just going to say it in the first 10 minutes.
He's going to spend his next week buried in the dictionary.
Well, I will be studying, but not for this podcast.
Yeah.
So if you guys like this podcast, this episode, leave a like and leave a comment on whatever you thought about this episode, about the script that we wrote in this one. Maybe it's some people that are interested in that. And then did I already say subscribe to the?
Yeah, when I was doing the prompt, but yeah.
Yeah, but in the end, we have to always say it in the end.
Subscribe to the channel, also the other socials. Give us some feedback on how you feel the episodes are for you. Specifically, we changed the audio a bit for last episode.
Yeah, true.
And we're split internally whether it's better or not. So someone else's opinion would be greatly appreciated. This is episode 5 and the rest of the episodes. You'll probably understand what we mean, but yeah. So we changed it a bit, but we're not sure whether it's better or not. So let us know your opinion on this and anything else we talked about.
Yeah, and then go to our Instagram, our TikTok, and Spotify, and follow, and everything there. And then we'll see you guys in the next episode. See you guys. Bye.